welcome to another episode of Christian Ricky, and today I'm joined by Lungelo Buthelezi. We're going to talk today about dating with aim and purpose. Michael Todd says that when we don't wait on the Lord, we give the enemy the chance to introduce us to counterfeits, which are the people that are not meant for us, basically. Then we deal with the results of the mistakes, and we have to get healed and delivered from something that God never meant for us to experience. I feel like that is so deep. But anyway, let me introduce my guest. I am joined by Lungi, who is a business manager in global markets. She loves all things strategy, Africa, traveling, fashion. She loves good food, education, and business. And her passions lie with people and bringing change where she can help. And she really loves kids. And she also serves at the Kids Zone at church, where she gets to interact every day with kids. How are you, Lungi? Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Manaka. Oh, so happy to be here. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm so glad to have this conversation. I've been waiting to have this conversation. I feel like the last time we had a mini piece of this conversation, it was kind of like what is it? You know, mawukhalisa lumuntu. What is it? You khalisat me. You're like, I was so ready to like dive deep into the topic, but we didn't have time. And I always was like, Lungi, we need to have that conversation, Lungi, because you guys don't know, but Lungi just recently got engaged. So, I want to know, hey, I want to know how I can get to that point also where I'm a Mrs. to be. So, and from the conversation we had the last time, you really had a lot of things to share. And you knew what you were talking about. I mean, you are where you are now. So clearly, you know what you're talking about. So from my experience, I would say that dating with no intent of marriage is one of the craziest experiences that I've done in my life. I mean, I've dated many times, many people, many people, but there was really never an intention of I want to get married one day. And now I'm at a point
Yeah.
where, I'm trying to meet the person that I'm going to marry. I'm not trying to date because I'm bored, I'm lonely. I want to date with the intent and also making sure that you know my intentions and I know your
Yeah.
intentions as well. So that's been literally, I experimented with my life. It had some of the most detrimental consequences for me, which I will not get into now, but you guys know some of it because I've shared. And yet, the majority of parents allow it, right? They encourage it. You have a boyfriend. We always, when kids are
Yeah.
little, they even talk about like, when he grows up, he's going to be my child's boyfriend. They definitely do encourage just dating, and then the intention isn't really communicated. The only time, well, for me growing up, I'd hear it was, don't have sex, have it when you're married. That was the only time the intention
Yeah.
was expressed, that your intentions to have sex should only be when you're in marriage, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so in your opinion, Lungi, what do you think dating without aim and purpose is, and what? I mean, when I was doing my research, they call it recreational dating. What do you
Yeah.
think that is? Recreational dating.
Yeah. As a real reason, or as a simple um definition for me, it's basically you dating without an intention to get married.
Mm,
Um, and maybe I'll just start off with, for me, it doesn't make sense why someone would want to do that, because you're filling your space, you're filling your time, which is your most valuable asset, with a person you know very well you would never marry. So I'm
mm,
very conscious about my space and my time, and why would I want a person there to waste my time? Um, and also, I feel it's a state of you operating in the fleshly needs. Like, what
mm.
are you getting out of it? If you are looking for fun, have friends, do stuff, join a club, a sports club,
Yeah.
like serve in church, have tons and tons of friends. And I also think it's just it indicates you haven't thought about what you want. You're not emotionally ready to be in a relationship. And if you operate in that space, I feel you risk hurting the other person in the
True.
process.
Mm,
Um, and also for me, it doesn't feel like you're getting much out of the arrangement. Like, what are you actually getting out of it? Whereas in a committed relationship, you're getting so much more. Um, and also, like, you are perpetuating you staying in that emotional hurt or insecurity or whatever is going on, instead of confronting what exactly you're facing. Because
Mm.
why aren't you wanting to commit? Um, you're not really dealing with it. You're just staying in this fun state. Let's date, let's have fun.
Mm.
And then once I'm out and I'm mature, so they say, then I'll have a serious relationship. So for me, it doesn't feel like it's a win situation ever. So for me, yes, recreational dating is basically dating without purpose, and you're opening up to a person that you never want to be a part of your life for a really long time. Why would you do that? Why would you risk your heart, which is the most valuable thing?
I mean, some people would say that you get, because, well, in the world we live in, people get the benefits of being with someone, even though it's not with the intent of getting married, right? I mean, we know people are openly having sex, they do things, they spend time together. I mean, you did mention the point of what benefits are you getting? I'm getting sex, I'm getting to go out with someone, I'm getting someone who sends me good morning text, I'm getting something. So, what about someone who feels like they are gaining from recreational? Because that is also an
Yeah.
intent, right? My intention is to have fun.
Yeah, so I guess it opens another conversation of having sex outside of marriage.
Mm.
Um, and that's a whole different topic. But I think for me, maybe to focus more on what marriage brings you, or a committed relationship brings you. It brings you, firstly, that sense of security, um, where you know you're building your life with somebody, and you in this for the long run. But also, there's for me, it's a purpose issue. If you are spending your time with a person who is clearly not what you are trying to focus
Yeah.
on, you're going to have a split purpose view, because in the one angle, I'm all about Jesus, or I'm all about business, or I'm all about fashion, and homeboy or homegirl is focused on something else. So now you have to split your time. Okay, for me to get the benefits of sex, I have to bring this person into my space, even though he brings me down when it comes to fashion,
Mm.
even though
Yeah.
for me, in the long run, it doesn't make sense why you would want a person who's not committed to who you are, and who doesn't, clearly this person doesn't align with who you are. That's
Yeah.
why you don't want them in your space for long. So it's, yeah, it's too, for me, it's too risky for my heart, and
Mm.
I don't want useless heartbreaks where now I'm in this dungeon.
Experimenting with my life,
Yeah.
like I did. So, like I mentioned, when you're now engaged, congratulations. Did I ever say that I did? I did. I even asked you about your ring. I did. I know I did. There's no way I wouldn't have asked. I'm such a sucker for these things. I was so happy when I found out. I was just like, yeah, it's happening. Also for me, like literally, and I said it the last time, like for me, literally, like when I see that happening to people that I know personally, not like someone I heard about, I just know that my Boaz is coming. He's on the way. And I'm ready for him. And he must come at his own time, but it's so nice to see God do things that I want for myself in other people's lives. So Sean, I keep saying his name. Is it okay if I say his name?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
he's my boo, so
He's
it's
not,
fine.
yes, honey. So Sean is now the person that you have decided to make your life partner. What role does God have in you deciding that this is my life partner? How if you don't mind me asking, how did you get to a point where you're like this man is the one for me?
Yeah, so that question um, pertains to everything we do in our lives.
Mm.
Um, God is interested in every area of our lives, and that includes our love life. So I usually ask myself that question I try to ask it in everything that I do. Um, and God plays the same role um, in dating as he does in everything else.
Mm.
So he's my counselor, he provides guidance, he's my comforter, he provides favor, he provides wisdom. I like that one because, especially when it comes to dating, um, he basically provides me with the wisdom. He confirmed, he warned me, and he told me about my purpose. He told me about our purpose as a couple. He also reminds me of my identity in him, and he also plays a role of just blessing me, So God didn't change when it came to this part of my life.
Yeah.
He remained the same person. So when I met Sean, I had been on a lot of coffee dates. All with the intention, if the guy
Met a lot of fraud.
good for me, if the guy is good for me,
yeah.
Okay. So never just dating for fun, but more like, he loves God, I've seen him around and he wants a coffee date. Let's do it. So I had gone on coffee dates, but I had always in my personal time prayed and told God like, I want this kind of love. And if I won't get it, I don't think I want this whole marriage thing. Like, I don't want 20% of what I think is out there, because I would like watch sermons, watch stories, and people are talking about this true, real love. And I was like, guys, it's that or nothing. I'm really not trying to live a half-filled life. I want to live life to the full. So I literally told God, I want a proper date. I want the guy to be respectful. And I almost like hinted how I would want to be pursued. And so, but I forgot about it because it's in those deep prayer sessions, and you just go on living. But when it happened, it's like it felt so right. It was like this is wow. Like it feels like it's something I could read about from somebody else's life. But even with that feeling, I still went back to God and asked for numerous confirmations. God, I mean, I've always said I want to pray with the guy that I date, and how come we haven't prayed together? And literally within the next minute, he was like, "So do you wanna pray?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." So for me, God has played that same role he always plays in everything else. But I think when I started opening my life, my dating life to his presence as well, then he played the same role. And I was like, why have I never introduced him much earlier? I could have I could have done it much sooner. But so that's the role I think God plays in choosing a life partner.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So there's this verse, and it goes around a lot in church. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. And it's usually mostly directed to the guy. That when they find a wife, they find a good thing. But what does that mean for me? Like, am I just gonna chill and just wait for Sean to find me? Because I mean, I need to be found. What's my role in this he who finds a wife thing?
So for me, it's.
Were you chilling? Did he find you chilling? What were you doing actually? How were you? What were you doing? Were you waiting to be found, just chilling, just waiting on Sean to find me, or you? But then again, you mentioned you used to go on coffee dates, so you were part of you was actively looking, right? You weren't just sitting and waiting.
No.
You were still moving on with
your life. I was not actively looking.
Okay.
So
I stand corrected.
Okay, so my answer for that would be yes and no.
Okay.
So I'll start with the yes, because that's the more everybody's like, oh no, you can't just chill. Okay, so I'll start with the yes. And the yes part is, personally, I believe men should pursue.
Okay.
He's the one missing a rib, right? So he must know which rib he's
looking for. I love that.
And also, like, when Adam woke up, and he saw Eve, he was the first one to woe the woman. This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So I personally believe a guy should pursue. So yes, from that perspective, I did not pursue anybody.
Okay.
And I was intentional about, no matter how much my heart was dying. No, I did not. So from that perspective, yes. But no, in a sense that we do something, we have to do something and prepare ourselves, and not because it benefits him per se or her, but because we need to be whole, we need to be following purpose in preparation for our family and for our legacy and for the next generation. And also, a relationship is not just made up of a guy or a girl. A relationship is made up of two people.
Yeah.
So you want to be ready for what love is, what a relationship is. So you work on yourself because someday you also have to contribute. So you're getting ready by basically working on yourself.
Yeah.
And because one day it's your relationship as well. So if you have issues that you want to resolve, it's the time to you shouldn't be chilling. You should be resolving those issues because when you're in a relationship, all your flaws become brighter. Like everything you're bad at becomes worse. If you're selfish, it like you see it more. If you're untidy, you see it more. You know, if you have an unhealthy lifestyle, you see it more. So it's a time you can't just, so you don't show from that perspective, but you don't live in a state of, ooh, I need to go and look for these guys. Ooh, like I always say, live your life, and you have to get out, go meet friends, but you don't like wake up and say, ooh, it's Saturday, I have to go look for guys.
Yeah.
That's like tiring. Just live your life.
It feels like a job.
Feels like a job.
Yeah.
Just live your life, work on yourself,
and he will find you.
And he will find you. And also, you work on yourself because a part of your purpose is community, and you want to make friends. And in the process of making friends, you want to be liked. So that's why you dress up. That's why you exercise. That's why you use kind words, you know. So all of that actually just naturally then transpires to, oh, in case now I bump into someone who's interested in me, then I'm actually ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yes, in terms of intimacy, but no, in terms of you can't just sit at home and sleep and think.
I mean, he's not going to come into your house and find you in your bed. Like,
that would be very creepy.
That would be so creepy. I'm sure we don't want men that are going to find us like that. That's a robber.
Yeah, also, also, like, you have no reference of humans. And now the first guy that comes.
Yeah.
No.
So, what in our singleness, what are some of the questions that we should be asking ourselves in preparation for the right person? Just so I'm ready, like you're saying, that you work on yourself while you're still alone, not when he's here. So, what are some of the things that I should be asking myself to get myself prepared for when he comes?
Yeah. So, I think firstly, we just always need to remind ourselves that you must live in singleness to the fullest. You are not on hold, and your life will only start when you get married. You are not living, and your whole life is preparation for a life partner.
Yeah.
That's a component. That's one part of your life. I never knew how to reference singleness because it is what it is. But for me, it almost makes your whole life like my whole life is defined by the fact that I'm single. Like it should, I feel like it should have another name.
Yes.
I mean, this season, maybe let's call it hustling season. But by the way, in this season,
getting to know me season. Yeah.
You know, so I think the questions that are key for me would be to firstly ask yourself, what is your purpose? And I think that informs a whole lot about your life. Which country you're going to live in, what career you're going to pursue, how do you want to be perceived, what problem are you solving in the world? Like, it almost cements your existence. Why are you here? So what is your purpose? And then when we move into more in terms of in preparation for a life partner, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of a wife or a husband? And then you have to ask yourself, do I really want to get married or not? And I use the word really because I think there's a lot of there's a lot of us that, or a lot of people that say they want to get married out of society um,
The
pushing
pressures,
them to
yeah.
say that, or because they think it's the right thing to do. But when you actually think about it, you're like, I don't think I want to get married ever, you know. So you have to ask yourself, do I really want to get married? And then you have to ask yourself, how do you want to be pursued?
Mm.
Um,
How you
and
want to be
then
pursued?
how do you want to be pursued? Like,
Mm.
yeah, because there's different. You always pursued for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? So for me personally, it was a big way of me, like, how am I going to survive in this? What am I looking for that's
Yeah.
going to make me stay in this relationship? So that's a question I had to ask myself because I was always confused. Like when you watch, when you go on Instagram, you're like, oh, this seems nice, but what does Lung actually want?
Mm.
So how do I want to be pursued? And then what do I want in a life partner? And not in terms of you must be tall, dark, and handsome,
Mm-hmm.
but like in terms of values, in terms of dreams, in
Yeah.
terms of purpose. What do I want um, from my life partner? You know, so but please, can people not sit in that state for a long time in singleness? Singleness is all about finding out, like, what do I want in a life partner? That's not it. Singleness is about everything else, and one of the things is thinking
Finding that
about
out.
what do you want. Yeah.
Mm.
So for me, I would say those are the questions that
Yeah.
um, you need to ask yourself when you're single. Yeah.
Okay. So many of us have experienced poisonous relationships. Like myself, I'm one of them. I'm sure you have as well. Relationships that you were not meant for you. And in some way or another, it may have negatively affected our desires to ever have a human connection. Being like, I'm done with these men because I've
Yeah.
experienced so much heartbreak. So, in closing, how would you encourage someone not to allow the pain that they experienced in their past to just open up their eyes to see and just be open to their future life, I guess? How would you encourage someone who's just like, men are trash, I'm done, I'm not doing this? Just to bring them back and be like, hey, you had a bad experience. That's not it. That's not all your life is about.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all had a thought like, oh, I
Yep.
can't believe he did that or she
Yep.
did that. So I think I'll just start by saying, um, with everything that's going to be said, I just want to say that pain is real,
Mhm.
betrayal is real, abuse is real, all of that. So we're not minimizing any of that. Um, but I do think pain shrinks every area of your life into this one incident or one person or one challenge.
Mm.
Um, and so I think for me the first thing would be surrender it to God, and literally in those words, say I surrender it to God,
Okay.
and then commit to actively getting out of it. So literally go through a period of I'm going to exercise to get those happy hormones up.
Yes.
I'm going to eat right. I'm going to go see people. Force yourself to say yes when you're being invited. Um, and also just to say that unresolved pain, it shows up in your new relationships. So and if you don't deal with it and go through it, you
Mm.
continuously relive the pain, even in a new
Sure.
relationship.
And you also have the
So
filter, right? Of the pain you've
yeah,
been through.
yeah. So it's very important that you deal with it before you move into a new relationship. And because pain is short sighted, like it ignores that God still has more for you. Um,
Mm.
you it makes you live in this space of the best thing has already happened, but you forget that the best thing is yet to come.
Mm.
So
That's good.
I would, yeah. So it's when you're out of it, you realize how much time and energy you spend versus you focusing on my life is still on a pop. Like
Yeah. I have a
I'm,
future.
I have a future, whether it involves another person or not. there's so much more to me than just this incident that happened. And
Mm.
some incidents are very painful, like there could have been abuse in a relationship and all of that. Some incidents we don't even have a hint of how it feels like. We just know it was pain. But God has so much more for us, and we always live with the hope that there's more for us in the future.
Mm.
And for me, that helped me get out of any dungeon that I found myself in. And as I said, just practical steps like exercise, look good. Revenge body is not for them, it's for you.
Yes.
Like I had a revenge body. I got my skin right. I got my
Mhm.
hair right.
Mhm. Yes,
Got
girl.
my career right. So when you look at your life, you're like, my life is popping. Why am
Mm.
I so sad?
Eish.
So yeah, for me, that's my advice.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do after this conversation, I'm going to first of all be specific with how I want to be pursued, right? I don't think that's something I've ever thought of specifically. Like, how do I want to be perceived? Pursued, I mean. I usually just think of what kind of person I want and how they must treat me, but not how should he pursue me. And I think that was such a great point you brought up. And also making sure that I've healed from all the past hurt that I've been through so that I open up to seeing the other person for who they are and not having a filter of the things that I've been through because that can to stop me from experiencing the future that I'm supposed to experience, the future that God has for me.
Yeah.
So that's been very helpful. Thank you so much. I'm going to implement because 2021, my Boaz is coming in Jesus' name.
I love it.
Thank you.
Asake Basetu, Asake.
Yes, yes. And also, like, one thing I've been picking up from these conversations I've been having is being specific about what you want and not just being like, even if it's just a man who loves me, it's fine. But being specific
Yeah.
because you might just find someone who loves you, yes, but are they loving you the way that you want to be loved? So being
Yeah.
specific and learning yourself because you can't say what you want to get if you don't know yourself. So getting to know
Yeah.
yourself and your singleness, being specific with how you want to be perceived.
Yeah, I like that. I like what you're saying because um yes, love it's like it's amazing being in love. I'm enjoying every second of it.
Yes,
But
girl.
whenever we listen to like marriage sermons or whatever,
Mm.
they always say that love is not what sustains your marriage. So it's very important, as you're saying, like when you are 60 and you've had life has come and gone and
Mm.
come and gone, like what is it that actually brings you guys together? And
Mm.
for me personally, it's friendship. And it's much nicer when you do it in church because there's no there's no clutter of everything else. It's literally friendship. Like dating in church, guys, to be honest, is
Mhm.
just friendship. So you literally like, do we like the same jokes? Like, am I comfortable to say these things to you? Are you gonna call me out?
Yeah.
And it's way more than love. Like when he spoils me and all of that, which he does, I love it. But what I appreciate more is when I'm angry with my mom and he knows like what to say in that moment. You
Mm.
know, from or where he like stops me from saying the wrong thing because he knows I will regret it later. For me,
Mm.
that's like, it's more than just love. It's like practically, do you get me? Like it gives me
Yeah.
a new vibe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful, Lungi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having the conversation with me. I can like you are happy, girl. I'm so happy for you and Sean.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
really
you.
awesome that I know you guys personally and you guys are here. I mean, it's real. It's really encouraging. And having the conversation with you, I'm so encouraged. I'm still saying that my Boaz is
It's
coming
coming next
in
year. Yeah.
2021.
We are
Coming
ready. We
soon.
are ready. I start doing my face. I'm on that cruise.
Yeah. Nah, I'm ready. I'm so ready for him. Thank you so much, Lungi. Thank you very much.
Coco.
I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it. I'm
having
pretty sure
me.
people learned a lot because I did, and I'm about to go add on to that list because this year I am collecting data on how to how to get there. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Please send a voice note, a comment, a DM, an email. Just send something, a letter, and let me know if you have any more questions. If there's some things that you would like to get answered, some questions you have. Um, yeah, let me know. Maybe Lungi might want to do a part 2. Who knows? Or maybe we might feature your voice note on the show. Who knows? How cool would that be, actually? But yeah, from me and Lungi, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye.